feared through Killarney. Now I'm back, hitching with the wind. But if Mickey Flynn should ever find me, I'll throw me caution all behind me and square off on that son of a bitch again. He cracked open a river too, he beat me Sunday through and through, and so jiggle my unconscious frame. I won me healthy sheriff fights, well lucky son, still happy life since Mickey Flynn beat me dumb and lame.
All right, we are back with another edition of the TJ is One of Us podcast. This week, or on tonight's edition, I just have Shane with me. We're gonna get back a little bit more to the roots and do a show with Shane once a week, show with Andrew once a week. They'll hop on together once in a while, but yeah. So come to you kind of with a weird vibe in the air after the passing of the now late great Kobe Bryant. It's one of the reasons I'm pretty glad that I got Shane on the show tonight, because I know Shane's a big time Kobe guy, while I am not. So I'm certainly not the right person to talk about it. Before I, or as I introduce Shane here, we'll kind of go right into some Kobe talk, go through it a little bit. I know it's been covered endlessly in the media, but we would not be a basketball podcast. We did not pay homage to one of the all-time greats in the NBA and the tragic demise of him and his daughter Gigi. Shane, how you doing over there in Philly?
Weird week, man. Definitely a weird week. It's, I don't know. I literally can't explain it. It's like nothing I've actually gone through, which is strange to say. Like, this is like this may be one of the first like big like global icon passings that's been like in our adult lifetime that can like make some kind of an impact to us. So like, this is super weird it's dominated all facets of the news, politics, everything, everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, inside the business world, the art world, the literature world, the sports world, obviously the music world, like literally across all borders here. Everyone's feeling it. It's been especially weird. I live out here in Orange County where Kobe, lived. Him and his wife and their 4 kids were figureheads in the community, and like his daughter went to school around here. Like his wife used to shop at the Whole Foods, like 15 minutes from my house. Like they're seen out and about. I was actually out with a buddy last night, and he's from Denmark, so not super into basketball, but I kind of asked him about his thoughts on the whole Kobe thing, and he was like, dude, you're never going to believe it. I've lived here for 6 years, and I'd never seen him before and always heard that he's always out. And I saw him last Thursday for the first time ever. And I saw him pushing his daughter in the stroller and, talking on the phone for a little bit. And, I thought about going up to him and giving him a handshake and saying thanks for, being Kobe and getting a picture. But I decided just to let him go, and I figured I'd get a chance to see him again. And he didn't. So it was weird. It was weird how many people I've heard their opinions and feelings and everything that's been going on with everyone out here. There's a very somber tone, and everyone has a little anecdote and someone to say about this one. And it's pretty rare that a person dies in the world that everyone across all facets of life has something to say about them.
Yeah, he was a global icon. I mean, we see it all across the NBA with with the game, expanding overseas, talent coming from all across the globe, the kind of impact that this generation of basketball had because of or from Kobe Bryant. I did have the pleasure to meet the guy working a game for SI in like 2011 or 2012. But it's weird. Like, there are a few people that like you walk into a room with it and you like nothing else matters. Like, you're in complete awe of who's in front of you. And it's not like, when I met him, it was pregame. Like he was just working out. He was stretching. He was giving his teammates a bunch of shit. He was Kobe. But it's bizarre. Like there are certain people that just command a certain level of just stop and let's appreciate this for a minute. And for people, I mean, you said it, through all facets of the world, like he was able to connect with you. And it's at 42, his post basketball life was really just starting, and his dear basketball winning, an Oscar. He was just an incredibly complex human being with such a simple message about him. And it's hard to not respect them.
Yeah, I agree. That was kind of my take on the whole thing. It was, hey, Kobe wasn't my favorite player, but you'd be remiss if you didn't pay respect to one of the greats, whether you like him, you like the way he played, you liked him. I mean, he did so many different things. It'd be impossible to not like something he did. So yeah, we're gonna be feeling this one for a while. And I mean, it was weird here when the crash happened. I had heard about it from some of the guys at Unwrap Sports that a couple of them live in the Calabasas area, and they had reported on it and sent a group text out to a bunch of people that was like, "Hey, Kobe's dead." And that was all they said. So I kind of dismissed it, thought it was fake news, and then sure enough, they were like, "Nope, his helicopter went down." And so I went to the gym to kind of clear my head and kind of see if it would pop up in the news. So I got to see a wave of people all experience seeing a tragedy like that for the first time, which was a strange thing. I've never experienced something like that before, and made me particularly uncomfortable. Yeah, it's been a weird mood. I mean, there's been some great tributes going around from all the different teams, and yeah, so I mean that it's been cool to see that everyone's realized there's more than basketball, and the NBA is trying to do their part and honor the man. And yeah, there's been a lot of cool stuff going on with it. Life does go on from tragedy like that, but hey, you got to stop and pay respect. So I'm glad that we were able to take a couple minutes here and speak about a legend of the game. And I think that was an important thing today. It's not an easy thing to do, but hey, it's something we have to do, and I'm happy to do it. Shane, thanks for speaking on Kobe. I didn't realize that you'd met him before, so it makes this extra cool.
Yeah, like I said, it's weird. Like I was telling a story to a coworker, and I as a kid, I remember like I had like, I don't know, 9 Allen Iverson jerseys, and like no one knew that like I really liked Kobe a hell of a lot more than AI. And that 2001 finals was tough. And like, I remember I had a Kobe jersey, I had a Kobe gold, and I wore it underneath a Sixers sweatshirt and like had to tuck it in so that people didn't know I was wearing, like, I didn't want the Lakers to win. Like, let's not misconstrue this. This is a Sixers podcast. I'm a Sixers guy, but like, man, I really dug Kobe Bryant. And I was like, what, 12 or something, during that run. And like, I was that kid that had like other kids in the neighborhood, all the top of our neighborhood with signs like, oh, honk if you like the Sixers, honk, if whatever. And like, we thought we were like cool. And then I always found like it was weird. Like I would come home and like take the sweatshirt off and be like, oh man, shit, I'm still wearing the Kobe 8. Like, this is strange. I feel very disingenuous right now to my people. But it was weird. Like from a young age, man, he just, the kind of basketball that he played, and then that mindset that he kind of like, people gave him shit because he like gave himself a nickname. Can you think of any person on the planet who is more deserving to give themselves a nickname than Kobe?
No, I really can't. The only other one I can think of is Swaggy
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, Swaggy P is a joke
idiot,
of a human being, and I'm actually upset with myself that he's being mentioned in the same sentence as Kobe Bryant nowadays.
But yeah, it was just something that like, you grow to appreciate certain individuals, some that you know, some that you know from afar, like what we all did with Kobe. That you kind of emulate and adapt that mindset in different scenarios of your own life. And like I know for me, like one of the things, like I have an intensity about me with a lot of things that I do that is very rarely matched. And like that's very off-putting to people. And I don't make a lot of friends in business. I don't make a lot of friends really just in general because of the way that I am. And like Kobe, as weird as it sounds, like Kobe and the way that he was made that okay. And like I was comfortable with that because I knew what I was doing was something that I respected. And at the end of the day, that's what I needed to be able to live with. And that was really how he was. It was a mentality that you had to kind of adapt or adopt to. It's just, he was a fascinating individual. And like I said, it's been a super weird week. I'm pretty sure our own family members could pass and like it wouldn't hit me the way that Kobe did. So it's definitely strange.
Yeah, I just kind of to try to. I mean, I'm not trying to pass along the situation here, but to try to take us back onto a lighter note, some of the cooler things that have been coming out about this are the players sharing stories that we never would have gotten to hear otherwise. And my favorite one that I'd heard was Lou Williams talking about a game when when I don't know if it was Lou Williams or not, but I think it was him. But he was saying that the Lakers were playing a game in Memphis and they got smoked. And Kobe went to the locker room and took all of the Kobe's off everyone's feet and said, "Y'all are trash. You don't deserve to wear these." And he threw every one of them out in their faces and walked out of the locker room. So that embodies the intensity of a man who knows what he wants. He knows what he deserves because he works his damn ass off every time he gets on the court. And if you can't produce the level that he needs you to, then he's going to tell you. So yeah, I'm trying to take a part of that in my life, and this year, make it the year of the Mamba, as corny as that sounds. But I think it's an important message to take on, and try and better yourself a little bit from it. I think Kobe would appreciate that if we all did that a little bit, or he wouldn't care, because to be perfectly honest, he was going to work as hard as he could, and he doesn't really give a shit what the guy next to him does. To your point, Shane.
Yeah, like I said, fascinating individual, but someone that is deserving and was deserving certainly of all the respect that he got.
Yeah, and with that, let's start talking about the weirdly easily transition into that was a weird sentence, but
yeah, very much so.
Sixers played the Lakers on Sunday, on Saturday night, right before the passing of the great Kobe Bryant. And got to be honest, it was a game when our Sixers looked amazing. They were at home. They were playing the Lakers in full capacity, so Anthony Davis and LeBron. I mean,
well, it was the Lakers after a back-to-back last of a 5-game road trip. Like
don't tell people that. Like,
just saying. Like they definitely didn't look Lakery.
No.
Although then again, like who was it? Washington that kicked the shit out of them. I can't even remember.
Wizards have been doing that to everyone.
I can't even remember who the hell beat the hell out of the Lakers, who had no business doing so, but they did. Beyond the Sixers doing it, because we did too, because we're great. But yeah, just saying.
Yeah, it was a game. When LeBron passed Kobe for the all-time scoring record, it was cool seeing the little celebration of that and honoring LeBron and seeing all the stuff that Kobe put out, being like, "Great job, LeBron," on the next number. Weirdly, I was watching a recap on this game tonight because I don't remember a ton of it because it's been a weird week personally for me, and on top of all this other basketball stuff going on. So excuse me for my brain being a bit scattered tonight. But the one thing I do remember is, and this is something Anthony Davis does better than anyone because his arms are, 27 feet long. There's a point when LeBron threw an alley-oop up to Anthony Davis, and he reached back to the foul line and dunked it down, just immediately. It was just on Al Horford's face.
Oh yeah.
In a game when the Sixers won by 17 points, I don't know why that's the one play I remember. I don't know why I don't remember the fact that Al Horford played pretty good.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's because that's a play that the Sixers are just completely incapable of running.
Sadly, yes. I would love nothing more than to see Joel Embiid do that. I just don't
Bring
think
back Sean Holmes. It's like the only thing he could do.
Yeah.
It's that little interior pick and roll.
Yeah, this was so in a weird stretch of games, this was the one that Shake Milton played just okay in. This is just a foreshadowing to later games, and for those that don't know what foreshadowing is, it's an advanced English word.
You're such an ass.
We're just trying to up our game here on the TJ's Wonderful podcast. But Shake Milton has been playing out of his mind. It was a night he only had 7 points, and he
one pretty reverse layup.
Yeah, very pretty. He had 9 rebounds in that game as well,
which is impressive for a guy who's 5'5".
Yeah, and weighs 14 pounds. Like I might not weigh.
He's a fetus. Like, let's be serious.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm liking what Shake's doing out there. T. Thibault put 36 minutes on the court, which it's a game where he played kind of forgettably, to be perfectly honest. I mean, he had 5 steals in it, and aside from being the best defensive player in the NBA, I mean, undoubtedly, like, it's just kind of there on offense. Tobias Harris
had a couple big threes.
He did. You're right. And I'm liking how he's shooting the basketball quite a bit right now. Tobias Harris is on a great run, and he's shooting a lot, which is awesome for us. I'm happy to see it. Had 29 points in that game. Al Horford played pretty good, especially in a game when Embiid wasn't there. It was good that he stepped up. And Ben Simmons, I mean, what more can be said about the man right now? He's playing awesome, just carrying everything out. Like trying to think of a good way to put how good Ben is playing right now. I don't know if we can fully say that he's hitting his full potential here, and this is what we had to look forward to in the future. But he's getting pretty damn close. Like, it's been very exciting to watch Ben Simmons play lately.
Yeah, all right. So I feel like there's different tiers during like the evolution process of all of these true like budding superstars. Like Giannis took that next step, and like his game is vastly different now than what it was 2-3 years ago. I feel like what you're seeing right now from Ben Simmons is like a perfected craft to his potential at his current tier, if that makes sense. Like he's going to eventually break through that ceiling and become at least a willing shooter. And then we'll probably get a couple years of willing shooters before we get like a competent shooter. But for right now, for what his skill set is and what he is willing to do on the basketball court, like he is playing damn near flawless basketball and intense basketball. He plays hard minutes on the defensive end there. Him and Matisse are disgustingly good when they're out there together. And then to have the legs left under him to go ahead and push the issue, which I guess he kind of has to do because his half-court offense blows, but still, it's impressive. This is like a 2-week stretch for him. That's just, I'm so glad people have shut the hell up, kind of.
I am too. I'm really surprised that he's just not getting the praise that he deserves during this time. Even though he won Player of the Week, like, there really has not been a ton of chatter about how good he's playing right now.
Well, it's not sexy.
It's not, but I don't care. The guy's putting up numbers. He's playing 40 minutes a night. Like, he's got to be tired. I mean, I know he's a young guy and he's always in incredible shape, but he never gets off the floor. He's just always out there. Like, I think Brett Brown is literally forgetting to give him breaks. Like,
Tom Thibodeauing it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, he's gonna run him into the ground. Yeah.
Just a 6th and 7th guy. That's all that they have.
Yeah, I mean, if Shake can stay around, or Josh Richardson's coming back, so I don't know how long Shake's gonna be needing to play this much. I mean, hopefully it's not much, but I mean, Shake has been a good surprise during this time as well. That's what we remember going into the year. We expected big things from him, and for him to be the backup point guard and to work out really well with Ben.
Well, did you read? I think it was an Athletic article. I can't even remember. That there is inside the Sixers, brain trust over there. There is kind of pressure to start transitioning Ben off the ball for certain portions. And I think that obviously in doing that, you're allowing for additional Shake minutes. And if Shake is going to play like this, which again, you said we both had high expectations for a kid who was going to come in and expected to compete for those backup minutes with, Raul Neto and Trey Burke, who just alternate like being in Brett's good graces. I think that Shake playing the way that he is right now, like you may see one or both of those guys gone. I hope it's not Hole, man. That guy, his stroke from beyond it's a really welcomed thing. Like he might be like, I really like Korkmaz, which is still strange to say. I'm still not totally used to it. But like, I never feel overly confident that when the ball leaves his fingers that like that's going in. For whatever reason, Raul Neto, man, he lets that thing fly from behind the arc. I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm like already celebrating when I can see the shot like forming in his brain. Like now's the time. I'm like, that's good.
I think it's probably because he's got a sweet name. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah.
Handsome guy too.
Very, very handsome guy. Like remarkably handsome. Definitely better looking than Korkmaz. Which is probably why we have no faith in him. It's where it all
too much chest hair.
Back to. Exactly. Like no sense of style, obviously. But yeah, it's been good to see Shea come to fruition here. I mean, we're going to switch into the Warriors game here, but I mean, just flashing forward again even further, like tonight against the Hawks. I mean, we're recording this on Thursday night against the Hawks. He had a career high 24 points. Like, guy's shooting the ball well. He's not scared to shoot.
27 drive.
Damn, I missed the last 3 or something then, or have not checked the stats on it yet. So yeah, Shake looked good, and there was actually a point tonight when I was watching the game that my roommate said to me, like, man, why is Shake Milton taking the ball with the last 2 minutes of the game? Why is Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons just not stepping up? And I was like, you know what? Shake's just going to take the ball, and he's not going to hear no that someone else is going to take it from him. I mean, I love seeing that. Like, he's playing great basketball, and he's earning his time, and hopefully he gets rewarded for this. And even when Josh Richardson does come back, because he is certainly missed right now, because he also eats a million minutes a game like Ben Simmons. So
great on the defensive end.
Yeah, unbelievable on the defensive end, and we do miss him on offense a little bit.
Yeah,
just hotter, cold certain nights. But
such a heavy, awkward shot. I'll be honest.
I don't like his shot at all.
Yeah, I don't really like almost any Sixers shot outside of Raul, man. If I'm totally honest, I like Tobias' shot a lot actually. But I don't know. I mean, to your Shake thing, like Brett's a hot hand guy, especially with the bench unit. Like if Shake's playing the way that he's playing right now and continuing to hold his own on the defensive end, he's going to keep the minutes. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be 30, 31, 32 a night, but 20 a night, 25 a night, sure.
Yeah.
Have you noticed?
I'm comfortable with that.
Oh, same. So did you watch I mean, I know you're not local, but I'm sure it found its way to, Twitter if you were using it even at the time, but Nelson Aguilar, when he kept, doing Nelson Aguilar things and not catching footballs, the guy on the news who was like, I was catching babies unlike Aguilar. Do you remember that? Looks exactly like Shake Milton.
Was that Shake Milton?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I honestly, like, they've never been in the same room together.
I mean, you heard it here first. It's a conspiracy theory that I'm convinced the federal government's behind all of this. So is Shake Milton a narc? Like,
all right. So speaking of which, I don't have like an Alexa or anything like that, and like I'm very like the fact that I'm on a podcast is just so anti everything me. But like I'm just not a 2020 guy, 2019. I'm not this generation. But so I was talking to Stephanie yesterday about just while in government sucking and just intruding on our lives. I was like, yeah, we need to give the dog a bath like this weekend. People are coming over for the Super Bowl. It's probably better to, have a kind of clean dog. Like, I think that's an adult thing to do. Yeah. So I was like, we should probably get like a brush type of thing because his hair is, while it's short, it's like thick. It's weird. I don't know. Never get him like overly clean. And she's like, all right, sure. She never looked it up. We just talked about it because that's what we do. We talk about things that never happen. Like he's definitely not going to get a bath before the Super Bowl. He's just going to smell like anus and people are going to have to deal with it. But he's giving me such a dirty ass look right now. Like I think you could just tell. But
if anyone that comes to your party says something about how he smells bad and is surprised about it, that means they're not listening to our show. So shame on them. They're not real friends. And you should yell at all of them for not following us because we're now on Apple Podcasts. So
well done.
Easily accessible.
Very well done.
Can continue with the story here.
Oh no, I'm all for the what are we calling that again? You just jumping in on something, man. I'm losing.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Thank you. Man, my brain is not functional right now either. But anyway, no, it is late over here on the East Coast. But yeah, the government when I went to go and check to make sure everything for the podcast and the other former AMYP podcasts were up on Apple and all these other platforms, there were ads for fucking dog scrubby brush type things. And like, I just snapped my iPhone in half and said, fuck it, I'm going back to carrier pigeons. And bought another iPhone today. And then that's where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, they're watching. You got to think the government is on to us now because they know that we know about Shake Milton being a narc. So
we're the new Simpsons. Like, let's be serious. If you're not listening to us, you have no idea what to bet in the future.
Yeah, do not follow me as of late because I have been running ice cold on gambling bets. So, yeah.
I'm hot.
Lots of loss.
Golly, I'm hot tonight.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Follow the man.
That's the universe balancing out. But I will say, though, all of my NBA bets are taking me down to the last 6 seconds of a basketball game and overtime in some cases, and I'm losing my shit.
Well, that's what you really want from gambling, right? Is to enjoy the game more and have your heart beating through your chest and considering all the poor financial decisions you've made. Like,
I would like it to be a nice, consistent supplemental income.
Yeah.
That is what I would like from gambling.
Yeah, well, gambling doesn't want to give that to you.
It doesn't. That's why I got to play more poker. It's a skill game.
Poker is a skill game. I have not played poker in a while.
No one here will play.
Really?
I'm so pissed off. I tried teaching baby Steve a couple times of Whiskey Ramble. Listen to the show, by the way. It's at Whiskey Ramble PC. Not because we couldn't spell podcast. Not enough. We can spell podcast because we're online. Just there's not enough character. It doesn't matter. That's on Apple too. But yeah, I'm trying to teach baby Steve how to play poker, and he's just like, "No, man, I'm not having it." I was like, "I'll eventually learn," and I was like, "Man, come over for the Hawks game, tonight's game." I was like, "Well, watch basketball, and I'll teach you how to play poker, and then we will record Whiskey Ramble." And none of those things happened.
Really? I actually think he'll take to it pretty well.
He's a smart guy. He will.
Yeah, we got to get him to stop taking crazy parlays like the Sixers spread and like
Did he send you
first person to score and crazy bets. I mean,
this guy, I got to read this one to you. So this was a Golden State bet that he had. Now, in his defense, it was a free bet from FanDuel. So every once in a while, they give you some shit, either when you're on a cold streak like him, which he's been on since he started gambling, or if you're running low on funds, whatever. So this was his fucking parlay for the Golden State Philadelphia game the other night. It took the Sixers on the money line, which fine. Ben Simmons over 17.5 points. I was pretty cool with that. He's on a run. Yeah. Tobias Harris over 20.5. Thought that was a little iffy, but I always trust Toby. Like, I would make that bet too. Al Horford over 11.5. I think Al Horford stinks now. So I thought was a terrible bet. Ben Simmons over 8.5 rebounds and over 9.5 assists. So I was like, cool. You essentially think he's getting a triple double, when in my head I assumed that he wasn't going to play most of the second half because it's fucking Golden State. So neither of those hit. And then D'Angelo Russell over 23.5. So he took 7 individual bets on that specific game alone on a $10 parlay. And he's like, dude, the odds are plus 30.93. And I'm like, you fucking think? Yeah, of course they're.
I would go as far as saying those are not good enough odds for to take something like that. Right. Like if if I'm not eligible to buy like a, I don't know, $20 million mansion after the end of this $10 bet, I'm probably not taking that one. But excellent transition there into this game. Weirdly enough, the Ben Simmons stat line, I mean, he played just okay in this one, and I will admit I didn't watch this one live. I watched it after the fact. I kind of got sucked in just for the Kobe stuff and, the Embiid storyline, because Joel Embiid did come back that night. He was wearing number 24 for Kobe. He had asked permission because it's a retired number in Philadelphia, and of course, Bobby Jones let him do it. But the Ben Simmons stat line, I mean, it's weird how well Vegas or Parks or FanDuel, whomever set in that line, knows, because he had exactly 17 points, not 17 and a half, not 18. Al Horford had 12 points, not 11. So Tobias Harris didn't have 20. So in case you're sitting at the edge of your seat at home, Steve did not win, and he is not buying a $20 million mansion. So,
well, a $300 mansion.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still would have come over and, bought him a housewarming gift, but
here's an empty bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, I tracked on the Uber over. Did you get to watch this game live, or?
Yeah. So I was working at the restaurant for that too. But I mean, there's like, I don't know, 85 TVs in there. So we caught most of it. Ben, like, it was like a third and fourth quarter Ben type of thing. Like, when the game was getting close when it didn't need to. Ben, which, by the way, hitting free throws now. Good for him.
He's draining free throws. 9 of 10 on the night against the Warriors. Yeah.
Right. And that was honestly the difference. That was the way that they were able to kind of pull away on that. So, they were, like I said, the game wasn't overly sexy. For a lot of it, it was closer than it needed to be. But when it came down to it, Ben did what this team needs to be. Like, played great defense, knocked down free throws, made them pay for just about every single mistake or, risk that they took. Because some of those fouls were, let's just grab it. Let's just, put them on the line, make them beat us there. And he did.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're going to keep saying this every show because it's just going to keep happening, and I'm pleased with it. I mean, Ben Simmons is becoming the go-to guy here with Joel Embiid out. Didn't miss a beat at all. What do you think about Embiid's finger? It looks to me that it's still very much bothering him. Are you noticing that too?
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to honestly, it may bother him the rest of the year. I think it's definitely like surgery bound. Because like, if you remember, like when it happened, that night, they were like, I mean, obviously you played the rest of the game, and that is what it is. Adrenaline kind of kicks there. You get the Rajon Rondo elbow type thing, and it's just like, nah, I can play. But it was hard to get Rajon ready for the playoffs, and I think it's going to be hard getting Joe ready each night. Obviously a finger's different than an elbow, but when they announced it, that he was going to be out, quote unquote, indefinitely, it was because there was a torn ligament in his hand. So to me, it looks like I do think the tape or whatever the hell, whatever he's got on.
Got like a guard taped over it to stabilize it. But it's strange.
So it's weird. Like, I feel like I first of all, I don't know how anything's on anyone's finger and shoot. So like, I broke 2 of my fingers, so I had to tape 3 of them together for a playoff game in like high school. And I was like, well, this is horrible. So I just took the tape off. But like, I don't know how people do it. So it's got to be weird.
The most noticeable thing to me is when he's at the free throw line now. I mean, Joel Embiid is our best free throw shooter, shockingly enough. I think he shoots like 83, 87%, somewhere in there. He's 5 of 8 that night, so not noticeably bad, but not a good night from the line. And tonight against the Hawks, which we'll transition into here in a couple minutes, he was god awful from the free throw line, and it's painfully obvious that it's because of his finger. He's just not comfortable shooting. He's not himself, and I'm a little worried about it. Not because because he's not going to recover from or anything, but they're just letting him get back out on the floor right there when he's just not playing his best. Like, and I know we need him back there. I know we need to win these games, but
Do
he's
we?
not. Yeah, he's not helping if he's out there and he's going to get hurt again. I mean, the worst
That's what
thing
I
that could
mean.
happen to our franchise is him having serious damage occur to his finger.
Yeah. So I don't know that we do. Like, I feel like a lot of this second half, kind of a cakewalk of a schedule. Like, I don't feel like there's too many Lakers, busting in the door right now. And with the way that Ben Simmons is playing, did you really need to bring him back? And when you did you really need it to be against the fucking Warriors?
Yeah.
Like, just let this man take the time that's necessary. Obviously it's Joe, and you know that he's always itching to get back. One thing I will say, about Joel Embiid, that this is someone who genuinely believed that he may never get to play on a real NBA floor and a meaningful NBA minute. Like, he had no idea what was in store for him for his NBA career when he wasn't recovering from the foot and the back early on, in between college to his first game. He genuinely seems like a guy who never takes a minute on the floor for granted, outside of when you choose to not rebound the basketball tonight in random points of the game and just stare. But for the most part, like, he's a guy that's very prideful of his craft and very appreciative of the opportunities that he has as an NBA player. So that he's going to itch to get back onto the court. And I used to say after I hurt my knee, like, if I could walk, I was going to find a way to run. And if I could find a way to run, I was going to find a way to dress that weekend, and play, whether it was basketball, football, baseball, hockey, whatever I was playing that season. I was going to find a way to do it. And, like, I was doing that at a fucking high school and, like, adult league,
Extremely
kind of
poetic,
level.
by the way. We might need to make T-shirts of that.
Thanks, man. But Joel Embiid's doing it at the highest level of basketball that there is. So he's gonna. I just don't think there's a way that we can keep him on the sidelines. I think he would fight it.
I agree, and it's something that I love about him. However, that's where management needs to step up and just be like, no, your finger is still sideways. Like, fingers are supposed to go straight out of your hand, not all the way to the right, Joe. Like, when
I
your
don't know,
finger's
man.
straight.
I got a couple goofy ass fingers here, and, like, I throw a wicked knuckleball now because of it.
Well, I mean, maybe Joel Embiid's gonna have a second career as a 6'10" knuckleball pitcher. So,
All right, then I'm for
I
it.
mean, how scared would you be, and when you're playing the Phils, if Joel Embiid steps out with a size like 8.5 hat up on the mound, standing 7'7" tall when you account for the entire mound, and
Have you seen him
he's
throw?
basically. No, I have not.
It's very ugly. I'd feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah. It's humbling knowing that I probably throw harder than Joel Embiid does, so props to me.
Well, if your shoulder doesn't come detached.
Well, yeah, it's going to, but like that one pitch I get in there will make me look real cool. So
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, Joe looked. He came out and had 24 points for Kobe, wearing number 24. It was a cool stat. But yeah, he doesn't need to be out there yet, especially against the Warriors, who are 3-21 away from home, and not a good team. They're the team that, like, they come out and shake your hand before the game. Or like, hey man, what's up? We're not trying to win this one, so like don't play too hard. Don't make this a tough game. Like, D'Angelo Russell, one of the ugliest humans in the NBA. Something I just keep noticing every time I watch him. Terrible hair, terrible eyebrow, but like not cool enough like Anthony Davis is to make anything out of it.
I hate Anthony Davis too. So
every time I watch him play, I hate him more and more.
I actually watched the Sixers-Lakers game with my dad at his place. So who has recently gotten, like, very into the 76ers, which I appreciate.
Nice.
Yeah, man, like, I was sitting there and I'm like, this guy, I forget, because he was one of the ones who was a guard coming out of high school, right? He was like 6'2", 6'3".
Yep.
And then, like, in between that year, after he had already signed his letter of intent to go to school, he grew, like, I don't know, 14 feet.
Yep.
And they were like, what do we do with this? And they were like, let him play. And he's freaking incredible. Like, that guy is so unbelievably good. Like, LeBron's lucky because LeBron stinks. That AD's there. I'm only saying that, by the way, for Andrew. So when Andrew actually listens to this podcast, I can get an angry text from him. LeBron doesn't stink. I just hate the guy. Can't stand him.
Yeah. The other notable thing about Anthony Davis, tiny head, gigantic shoulders.
So weird. It's very Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. It's very strange having the two of them out there together. They're just not good-looking people.
First of all, Dwight Howard is a good-looking guy when he's normal. He went all Antonio Brownish with his personality. Like, I don't know what happened. I do kind of know what happened. So he was a local Orlando kid, right?
Weird people from Florida.
Always weird. Stays in Orlando for his first 8 years. Doesn't drink. He's all like nerdy and weird and just does goofy voice impressions of different shit. And like everyone just knows him as like this class clown. And then he signs this big contract in LA and Kobe is just like, I'm going to fucking fix that. So he starts drinking. And now he's fucked. Obviously, I still remember when they asked him, like, what are you going to do? And he goes, I think I'm going to celebrate with my first drink. And we're all like, he's 26 years old.
What could go wrong?
Like, you're going to make a life change now? It seems a little weird. He's like, well, I'm in LA and I think I'm going to try some of, I think it was Jay-Z's, whatever the hell he is. I guess it's vodka that he has. He's like, I'm going to have some of that. And I guess he never stopped because he looks ridiculous. Also, I'm pretty sure his shorts would be short on me. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he's out there. He looks like a fucking gladiator. It's weird. But, like, he's got to be wearing a junior highs jersey and shorts. It's crazy.
What do you think of the shorts look making a comeback here?
First of all, I dig it. I think it's – so I never really dug the like that whole – like the whole Iverson Kobe like era in that early like late 90s early to mid 2000s there were like giant baggy shorts and like giant jerseys and they were all trying like everyone just looked like an and one character. Like no one even looked like an NBA player anymore. I'm like, who's crossing any, like I didn't know how Allen Iverson was doing the shit that he was doing. I was like, dude, you got a lot of short to hit right now. Like every time you go through the legs with that basketball, like you're hitting a lot of cotton or whatever the hell the shorts are made out of. I don't know. I'm not a, clothing human, but like, man, that was such a bad look. So I dig it. What about you?
I like them, which is weird for a man with chicken legs. You think that I would not want to expose those to the world. It's not a good look for me, but I dig it. Skies out or thighs out. That's become my personal mantra, and I have a pair of 2001 Sixers,
the blue or
Ness shorts. They're black, yeah.
Okay.
I got them in. They're small enough so that they cut like above the knee. I just had to stand up here because I'm actually wearing them right now, and they fit really well to the point where I pulled them out at home once to just see what happened. I just casually did. It was like, oh, these, no big deal, but I was super excited about it. Got a couple comments that people were like, not only are those super cool shorts and it's a pretty cool throwback, but like, dude, those fit you amazing. You should always wear shorts like that. So I've been propositioning management at work to try to let me wear my Sixer shorts all the time. They said no. I don't know why, but
well, that's absurd. That can only be good for business.
Exactly. I mean, anyone sees these thighs, they're gonna start buying computer parts. Like
legs like that in LA. Oh my God.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's leave the Lakers behind and get into tonight's game with the Atlanta Hawks, which, as you had brought up or mentioned a little bit earlier, that Embiid just kind of gave up a couple times in tonight's game and just refused to rebound, and that was definitely the case. We're going to Tarantino this one and start at the end of the game before we start at the beginning, or get back to the beginning, excuse me, but Joel Embiid was doing this weird thing in the fourth quarter where he was playing defense on Trae Young at half court. And I don't know what the Sixers were doing with that, but him playing defense at half court there was then just leaving someone underneath the basket open every time. And it was making the Hawks look like a good basketball team. And they're terrible, like absolutely terrible. I don't know why Brett Brown was allowing this to happen, why he didn't immediately like just holler at Joel Embiid. I don't know what they were doing, but we need to never see that ever again. Joel Embiid needs to stay under the basket and not leave on defense.
I can never tell. So, like, I did not get to watch tonight's game. I was in therapy because I anticipated tonight's game. Go to therapy, kids. It's really good for you, especially if you're a Sixers fan. But I did, I do see what's being said on Twitter, and someone had tweeted out, like, he's not Giannis. It doesn't make sense the way that you think it does. And if you remember last year against the Bucks, now Giannis dropped I think he dropped 50 that night on Joel Embiid, but like it was like a hardened 50 where it was like, I'm going to take 900 shots to get there. And you're like, that's a really unimpressive 50 that you put up. And the Sixers won. And it was Embiid on him all night. And Brett Brown had come out after that game, and he was just like, I'm just going to start putting him on the best player on the floor because he's versatile. He's a versatile enough big that he could do it. And I want to shut down their top option and make other people beat us. And like, that's all well and good if it's like a larger 3 and then obviously a 4 or a 5, but maybe not Trey. Like, if he wants to shoot from the circle, which he can totally make, let him. If that's how he's going to beat you, fucking let him shoot. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't understand what the strategy there was. It literally looked like the end of an intramural basketball game when just the kid on the floor who thinks he's the best player, but it's not actually the best player at that time, running around trying to do everything. And it looked like even Ben Simmons and Shake Milton were like they were playing, they were pressing at the end of the game and trying to make something happen because we were down by like 4 points at one point with 2 minutes left. And Joel Embiid just kept screwing it up. I don't understand what was going on, especially on a night when I have the stats in front of me now. He went 2 of 7 from the line, was not looking comfortable. I mean, he had 14 rebounds and 21 points, but don't let the stats make you think that he had a good game or played well. I think it was a remarkably bad game for him, and I hope he gets a night off actually coming up and just rests the hand and gets out of there again because he was throwing them off all their rhythms. I was very confused by it, and it's very rare that I would ever say this about Embiid, but it was a strange game for him. He looked exhausted. He was dripping sweat from the moment the game started until the last second. He just didn't seem to want the ball. There were plenty of times when there were rebounds going up and he wasn't going for it. Like, it was very uncharacteristic of him, and I don't know what was going on. Very, very confusing ball game for him.
Do you think? I mean, I always notice when he's pressing. Ben Simmons, since Joe's gone out, has been great. Like, we've continued to say that. Philadelphia's a tough market. Obviously, we get that too. Like, prior to Embiid going out, all of the talk was, we need to trade Ben. We need to trade Ben. We need to trade Ben. Then Joe goes out. The team gets hot. Ben Simmons gets even hotter. And the talk becomes, I wonder if we could trade Joel Embiid. Joe, while he's not on social media and active on it in the ways that he used to be, he's certainly not on Twitter. He sees this shit. I start to wonder, you mentioned, comparing him to like the kid who thinks he's the best player on the team at the end of the game and just going around, just doing his own thing. Like, he may just be pressing so hard right now because he hears the noise. And that's terrifying to me because I do feel like once that happens for an athlete in Philadelphia, it is the end of their time in Philadelphia. Like, that will ruin the player in this city. So I hope I'm wrong, but man, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna take this stance instead. I'm gonna say that he's just fucking exhausted and he couldn't get back down underneath the basket because he was just out of shape.
Yeah, let's go with that one because I mean he did take 2.5 weeks off, and he's a giant human being, so it takes a long time for him to get back in good shape. Even if he's running, even if he's trying to practice a little bit or something, it does not replicate a game environment. So I'm gonna give him a pass on this one because he definitely deserves it, and he did come out and look okay against the Warriors. The hand's still bothering me quite a bit, but I mean, as if you're not just watching Joel Embiid every second of the game already. Like I'm paying special attention to him and everything he's doing on defense right now because I think that's where everything gets revealed, and that's where we'll be able to see if he truly is pressing. Winners of the game tonight, though, Shake Milton for the Sixers, career high 27 points, unbelievable from behind the arc, 5 of 9. He closed out the first half with 6 points in a row, which was huge because we were down at that point, and I assumed it was going to be like any other game that the Hawks play, and the Sixers were going to be down 10 the whole game and then come back and win at the end. And Shake Milton looked like he was trying to do that. He was literally the only Sixer at that point that was willing to just force his way to the basket, try to win the game. So props to him. It's great to see Shake playing that well. And Trae Young for the Hawks. He had an unbelievable game, and not that Trae Young ever has a bad game, but in the first quarter he had 10 assists, which is a disgusting number. I mean, we were going out there being like, all right, we're going to stop Trae Young, and he was like, cool, if you're going to stop me, I'm just going to put it on a tee for everyone else, and they're just going to score. So he finished the game with 39 points. I mean, he had 18 assists, 2 steals, like 6 rebounds. Like, that's just a ridiculous night. Like, he had 20 free throws. He went 18 of 20 from the line. Like, it was unbelievable watching him do what he does. But the only negative thing I could say about him tonight, another remarkably ugly human being.
He's awful.
Oh, just terrible haircut.
Not great, man. Not great.
Great basketball player. Terrible.
He's phenomenal. Man, Dallas. All right, so I've always took the stand. Like I think Luka Doncic stinks. I genuinely dislike him as a basketball player. Like he bores the shit out of me. But I do think that Trae is going to be filthy good for a very long time. At what year do you think the Dallas Mavericks say we may have fucked up?
I don't think either side will ever admit fault in that one. To be perfect.
Well, why the hell with the Hawks?
Because Luka Doncic right now is like the hottest thing in the world that everyone loves talking about. Because that night he put up a triple double, that LeBron also put up a triple double, which was entertaining. But the Mavericks lost the game, which is all that matters in the night. He's exciting to watch at certain points, but Trae Young is a different kind of player. He plays with the James Harden kind of attitude out there, which you can't beat. It's awesomely exciting. He's also playing with zero talent around him. Well, yeah, we don't mention that when you're talking about James Harden because he forgets how to play for a couple weeks out of the year.
Mike D'Antoni can't coach in the playoffs either. They're a perfect goddamn marriage. A volume shooter with Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah, James Harden is a nightmare right now. One of the crazier trades I'd heard the other day was someone's like, I think it might have been Simmons. I hate listening to him because I feel like he has a lot of original thoughts that I would have gotten to eventually, but like, I have to work another job because I'm not talented enough in sports media or in social media to make a living for myself with that yet. But he was saying, he's like, hey, Daryl Morey calls and, calls Elton Brand and says, hey, I want to offer you James Harden for Joel Embiid. Do you take that trade? And I heard that and like spit out water because I think I was at the gym taking a drink or something. A humble brag, I go to the gym, ladies. But so I heard that and I was like, no, like number one, that trade is never going to happen. So it's an interesting scenario to talk about, but just like a theoretical one. Number two, Joel Embiid is a historically great big man who has a chance to be one of the greatest bigs of all time. James Harden is a volume shooter who is great, and we're going to be talking about him for a lot of reasons, but you don't make that kind of trade. There are different points in their career. They have different motives. Like James Harden would not fit well in Philly at all. Like, to me, it was something that was brought up, and I like laughed it off. And they went on and talked about it for a while about, there's a chance of it. And then I think Priscilla was even like, nah, this is never going to happen, but like, cool thing to bring it up. But like, the fact that it was entertained at all was stupid to me. Like,
first of all, we moved Jimmy Butler out of here because his ball dominance was something that wasn't going to work with your superstar and Ben Simmons that you have every intention of keeping as a lifelong Sixer. The fuck are you going to do with James Harden?
Yeah, James Harden and Ben Simmons would be the weirdest mix of people. The only thing they have in common is the fact that they both dated a Kardashian. They might never speak to each other for their entire tenure in the city. Like, I
genuinely know. How the hell did James Harden get a Kardashian?
He dated the one that used to be ugly.
Haven't they all used to be ugly, but their dad's money got them, to be not ugly?
Probably the one that was married to Lamar Odom before he like OD'd on crack or whatever. Sad story. I'm not trying to say that in jest. Chloe, whichever one. Like the year that James Harden sucked, there was a year he showed up and was super out of shape and actually like started off really, really poorly for the Rockets. It was because he was dating a Kardashian and spending all his time with them and not like training.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
now he boxes really slowly and makes videos about it. That and carries around tiny little. That was a hilarious video. Did you hear him talking about I don't know how I just heard this, and this is going kind of way back. When Joel Embiid went scoreless in Toronto, did you hear his rant?
No, I actually didn't.
Oh my God, is that funny? I just heard that for the first time today. I don't even know how the hell I came across it today. But yeah, he goes in his full Stephen A. Scream, 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 whisper, all calm. It is. I'm gonna find it and send it to you. It's such a gem. It's so Stephen A.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. I think I just stayed off the internet for like a week when Joel Embiid put up 0 points because I knew I wasn't gonna read anything I would like. That was a tough couple days at work defending Joel Embiid, and I don't know why people just turned on him all of a sudden. Such a likable guy. I mean, we said a lot of negative things about him.
He's not likable.
And like, really?
This version of him?
This version of him isn't likable. He's in a weird spot right now.
This is so. All right. Some people are better off being single and chasing unattainable dreams in the companionship department. I liked it better when Joel Embiid was dicking around trying to say, Rihanna, give me a shot. Like, just give me a shot. Because of it, like, you have to keep chasing after something, right? And I don't remember what the actual term or whatever it was. It's just like, oh, if I'm an all-star, will you go out with me? If I'm this, will you go out with me? Just keep raising whatever that is. Like, and if Rihanna goes out with you, go for some Megan Good. She's a total babe. I think she's married, but still, like, find someone of that caliber and just be like, all right, if I'm an MVP, how about now? Hey, if I win back-to-back championships, whatever. Keep doing that. Right now, he's in like a committed relationship. What's he chasing now? Not a damn thing. Obviously, we need this man to get single again and then get funny again.
I mean, best case scenario is actually happening for us right now. Rihanna broke up with her billionaire boyfriend somewhat recently. Don't ask me why I know so much about pop culture tonight, but I seem to know a lot about what we're talking about here. She's single now, and Joel Embiid could get back out there. So for the city of Philadelphia, do we need Rihanna to reach out to Joel Embiid?
No, I think we should just start doing it.
Yeah.
Let's just
selfishly, I might try to pick her up, but like, if I had to pass her off to my boy Joe, like, I could make that sacrifice for him.
For the city. I mean, you are a saint. We will build statues in your name. Parades will be had in your honor, sir.
Remember this night, everyone.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Rihanna. Oh, what a babe.
A man with chicken legs made a sacrifice for the city of Philadelphia and brought a championship to them.
Oh, it's just you. The statue's just you walking over Rihanna like a lost puppy back to Joe,
like
saying, I think this is yours.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
That's all I ever wanted was a step over T-shirt of me with my face on it. I'd do it for that. And I'd get to celebrate and go home for the parade. Fuck yeah. I mean, I'm in.
I think that's perfect. That's the shirt. I dig everything.
That is the shirt. We're going off the rails a little bit here. Let's get back to this awful Hawks-Sixers game on tonight. I mean, I pretty much hit all the big things. The one thing that was weird for me was as the game was close at the end and I observed that we were just going to lose it. The one thing I said, like in the back of my head, I couldn't say it out loud because my roommates would have thought I was a crazy person. But I was like, you know what? I actually hope they lose this game by 15 points or 10 points because I don't want the score to reflect later on when we're talking about it, the end of the year that it was close because it never was. The Hawks were the better team tonight. They always were. Sixers had something off about them, and they deserved to lose the basketball game. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. I mean, they've been playing awesome lately, so there's never an excuse to have one off. I mean, they're dog shit on the road. They're 9-16 right now. We need to fix that. But hey, they were the better team tonight. Trae Young dropped 39 points and 18 assists, so hats off to them. Weirdest point to the game for me was the fact that Vince Carter is out there. It's his last season as a 450-year-old man in the NBA. He's a grandpa. The meme started in the beginning of the year, and that died off really well. There was no ceremony. There's no one even mentioning that he is in his last phase of his career, in his last year. He's been in the NBA for a very long time. He played 24 minutes tonight, which is just unbelievable. He's contributing heavily to the Hawks. Like, it's not like he's taking, a pass at the end of his career and just sitting out there. Like, no, he was playing minutes at the end of the basketball game. I mean, he put up 14 points. Like, he was a presence in tonight's game. And no one is talking about the fact that it's the end of an iconic person in the NBA's career. Like, I don't get it.
All right, so I have two thoughts about this. We talked about it a little bit beforehand. So I've been thinking about it. One, people in the NBA don't trust that he's not coming back again. Like, I feel like he's one of those guys that's just like, if he wants to play next year, someone's going to give him a job. And the 24 minutes and 14 points he dropped tonight is an indication that he could probably still do this. He is bizarrely talented and just seems to not totally age beyond like 35. I'm not convinced that he isn't 35.
He's got a little Dominican birth certificate thing going on.
I was just going to say it.
It's in reverse.
it's it. Benjamin Button over here met with Jesus, Big Poppy. Just said here, I need another one of these. But no, I think that I do think that in some capacity there's some thought that maybe that's not it. He also is basically going to walk right into a broadcasting job. So it's not like he's not going to be around the game still on an every night basis. He is that good with the mic. And he's for as flashy of a player as he was when he was in his prime and as exciting of a player as he was, he's always been like a really classy, very respected guy. And I feel like he doesn't want to kind of taint the game and draw away from the Hawks organization each and every night. And I respect that. Like Dwayne Wade, I liked Wade for years. I thought that was a joke last year. I mean, he was a good player. He's a really good player for a really long time, but like he's not iconic to an era the way that, Kobe was, going out with his thing. And I also think the LA thing is a very special circumstance. Like you have to kind of go above and beyond in LA. It just is what it is. And Vince Carter's another one of those guys that, iconic to an entire era of basketball. To me, if he wanted to take a little bit of time for some appreciation for himself and have a bit of a tour, I don't think anyone would give him shit for it. I just don't think that that's really him.
I don't think it is either. But then again, I didn't think that was Dwayne Wade. That him having all of these ridiculous ceremonies done for him. Like fuck, he had a 3-day party like not that long ago for him to be retired again this year, and the guy has not played basketball this year. He retired last year. So I don't know. I wish Vince Carter would be getting a little more appreciation and, at a minimum, like I hope, when he's playing his last game in a lot of cities, they flash something up on the screen real quick and just go, hey, thanks for a great career, Vince. Everyone stands up and, claps for him or something small like that. That would make me feel a little better. And, because I have a lot of good memories of Vince Carter playing basketball, and I hope he's getting, some notoriety from it. And like you said, you have a lot of good points there. He's definitely not just stepping away from the game of basketball. He's hopping in the booth. So we're not going to miss him or anything. And it's not like a sad, thing where he's leaving. Like it's a pretty happy kind of celebration thing. So I don't know. I thought it's interesting that a man who he is actually 42 or 43 years old, and he's stepping into the game, and that is not mentioned. They're just treating him the same as fucking Furkan Korkmaz in his pink shoes now because the man keeps changing up his color.
I love it. Don't even care
Me
anymore.
too. Yeah, he does not care. Maybe he is listening to the show, honestly, because I've given him enough shit with every color of shoes he's wearing. Like,
it's just, what will make this kid happy?
Yeah, seriously. Like, in the back of my twisted brain, I do think that all the Sixers are listening to this, and Tobias Harris decided to hop on social media. Furkan Korkmaz is, changing his shoes around. Joel Embiid's going to hear tonight's episode and have a come to Jesus moment and, hit the gym early tomorrow and start practicing a little bit and then sit out a game and wear a, you're right, Scott t-shirt on the sidelines. Like, I don't know.
How
Is
cool
that too
would
much
that
to
be?
ask for? It'd be pretty cool.
Who sent him that? Like, he'd have to wear it, right?
Probably, yeah. I mean,
Weird. We'd have to send him like a
t-shirt.
bed sheet. The guy's so big.
Probably wears like a 17XL. So yeah, let's close out, get away from this game. Let's move into our favorite segment on a very weird episode. We would be remiss to not run this one full circle. And as we enter the Zaire's stash phase of the night here, we have to name our boy Kobe as the comparison. And you know what? I think it's the least that we could do, and it doesn't take much effort from us, but it's us adding our recognition to a pretty dire situation. And I think Zaire's okay with this one, but to do the honors, Shane, is Kobe Bryant and his fine ass looking self, or his fine ass former looking self, is he better than Zaire Smith, the 7th best player of the NBA, who changed his number in honor of Kobe Bryant, which didn't get any love really in the write up, but we noticed. So I ask you, is he better looking than Zaire Smith, the 7th best player in the NBA?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Man, everyone else the NBA got crazy. Sports in general got crazy. You got Cam Newton's out there, walking around just looking like a fool. It's absurd. You get, Westbrook walking out there and I don't know. These guys are crazy, and Kobe Bryant just walks up in there in just a normal suit, and you're like, yeah, that's the way a human should dress. That's the way people should look. And not for nothing, outside of the ridiculous sunglasses on top of his head, announcing that he was going to take his talents to the NBA draft back in '96. Did he age at all?
No,
like
not at all.
The guy had the best
crack, Shane.
The guy had the best cheekbones I've ever seen in my entire life. It was absurd. But yeah, Kobe was a handsome guy. So Zaire, I'm sorry, man, but it's your first loss of the year, of 2020 here. We have officially found one person that was more attractive than you. But we have confidence that you will be back on your throne next week.
Yeah, for sure. You keep that mustache groomed and you comb that thing out, and we'll find a good
that
picture
gold
of him
tooth.
Because he definitely listens to the show and also walks into the locker room every week, strutting his stuff a little bit, being like, "Yo, what's up, boys? I won again. I'm the best looking player in the NBA, 7th best player in the NBA. Yo, Brett Elton, where's my money?" But yeah, so a weird episode and a very weird week of the NBA and kind of a somber tone. I think we're ready to wrap it up here. Shane, do you have anything else for the people at home before I start hitting them with the Twitter call outs?
No, man. I would say that the only thing, it's non-NBA related, but if this week doesn't put life in perspective for you and the things that truly matter, I don't know what will. You know, we you just never know. So everyone close to you, just make sure that they don't question whether or not they are.
Yeah, I agree. I had a cool thing happen. One of my best friends from growing up had reached out and just sent a text. It was like, "Hey man, I love you. I appreciate you as a person. I just needed to let you know." With that, for the listeners at home, I don't know. We don't talk about this enough. But Shane and I are cousins. We grew up together. And hey man, Shane, I love you. I appreciate you. You know, this is a great show. This is a great thing we do together. So I think it's important to give you a little recognition for bringing me into this. And wouldn't be here without you, and I wouldn't be able to talk about a great man and the legacy he left behind. So I think it's important to take a couple minutes every once in a while and do exactly that.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to have to be corny here again and hit you with the TJ is one of us Twitter. That is at TJ is one of us, spelled out. The number one is spelled out. One more thing, actually, that I don't think we got into. I didn't talk about our super secret giveaway when we hit 100 followers, Shane, did I?
No, you didn't.
No, to bring us back on a happy note, I have a big announcement for the people at home. It's a very exciting moment for me. It's something I picked up last week. I made a giant purchase. I'm a Ninja headband guy now, Shane. It's a big announcement.
I can't wait for these people to see this shit on you.
There's a picture coming. I wanted to be able to announce it on the show first. And plot twist, I don't look as cool as Mike Scott or Jimmy Butler did. I will admit that. So yeah, I did pick up some Ninja style headbands, and I thought it would be fun, something I've been working on to work up some swag for you guys so you can rep the podcast and tell everyone that your favorite Sixers podcast is the TJ is one of us podcast. And, I'm sure you'll see Joel Embiid wearing one of these in warm-ups or something soon enough. But for the 100th follower of our Twitter, I'm going to send out one of these headbands. It'll be a custom-ass designed one. It'll be pretty cool. It'll have the TJ is one of us moniker on there. It'll be special. So for those at home, please hit us with a follow out on Twitter, and I'm excited to give it away. So with that, I kick it over to you, Shane. What do you have to promote here?
Myself and 40 other podcasts that I'm a part of. So I'm going to take the next 14 minutes to read off all 40.
All right, I'm going to go to sleep, and when I wake up in 8 hours, you'll still be reading.
I'll be about halfway done. No, I have a lot of fun, with this new kind of podcast thing that we've been doing the last couple of years. It is awesome to have been able to reconnect with you, Scott. So I'm glad that you took over this Sixers show and kept me on. Definitely appreciate that. So definitely follow us here at the TJ is one of us pod. You can follow my personal. It's at Shane_Mead. You can follow, I mentioned it earlier, the Whiskey Ramble show, one of the lasting favorites from the ANYP tree. That's at Whiskey Ramble PC. Disciples of Ed. It's a hockey show that we kept also from ANYP. It's out on its own too. It is at Disciples of Ed. I also just got picked up by Brotherly Pod, which is an awesome Flyers podcast over there with Dan the Flyer fan. He's fantastic. He's got a network similar to ANYP that they're undergoing some changes. I was fortunate enough to be part of the new group that's coming in. So Dan, thanks, man, if you listen. Definitely give a listen to at Brotherly Pod. I don't think there's any underscores or anything. I think it's just at Brotherly Pod. And then we are back where everything kind of started for us. We started as a blog. So I have no fucking idea what the address is. Sorry about that. Just look on the TJ is one of us Twitter, and we will have a blog up. And one of the cool things about a blog is the fact that I really don't give a shit about grammar. This is the least professional website that will come up there, and you will see what I mean when the people who write for us put shit up. So enjoy it. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be grammatically perfect, although we hope that it is at least close. But interact with us there as well once we, know what the hell the website's called. I think that's it. I'm sure I'm forgetting some shit. And if I am, sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, because you're a very busy man, and that is quite the laundry list on top of your other couple of jobs you got going on. With that, I will say we're going to come back with Andrew later on in the week, but I will do a little bit of writing because it's something that's my New Year's resolution, not to be a corny white guy, but that's my New Year's resolution, is to get back into writing a little bit here, and I intend on following through with that. So I'll come out with some basketball content. I'll tweet that at the TJ is one of us Twitter. And hopefully a couple people will read it, and they'll covet that ninja style headband that we were just itching to give away when we reach 100 followers. And with that, and like I said, just a weird week, weird somber episode. It's strange when we're not just joking and riffing back and forth with one another, but hey, it was important for us to do. But we'll leave you guys here. This was a good one, as they all are, and always a good time we're talking about the Sixers, even when they lose in embarrassing fashion to Trae Young and the Hawks. But that, I'll leave you guys, and as always, go Sixers, but also go Mamba. We'll throw that one in there for once. We'll see you guys in the next couple days with Andrew.
A fighting man I used to be, revered and feared through Killarney. Now I'm back, hitching with the wind. But if Mickey Flynn should ever find me, I'll throw me caution behind me and square off on that son of a bitch again. He cracked open a rib or two, he beat me Sunday through and through, and so jig over my unconscious frame. I won me healthy sheriff fights, well lucky son still had me life since Mickey Flynn beat me dumb and lame.